Previously, we spoke with Jarita, Hakeem, and Ashley. This time, we speak with them about how their identities shaped their careers and their advocacy. As a teenager, Hakeem Ol-Ushehi was split between his love for physics and the violence of the crack epidemic in the 1980s. Even after overcoming these experiences, he felt unable to discuss them among his peers in physics. He's currently writing a memoir about his life and his love of astronomy.
And identity impacts, when you ask a kid, what are you going to be as far as their career, their economic definition of themselves, their identity impacts that, right? The most valuable thing I learned in graduate school was how to not set off the radar of the upper class people to know that I'm really a lower class person, right? A lower socioeconomic class person, right? So they judge you from 10 miles away. They prejudge you from 10 miles away, right? So I can show up and they'll think, oh, it's Dr.
Right,
Fancy
and they
School.
don't know anything about all the rest.
They'll know, and that's why it took me until I was, an ancient man to actually talk about it to you, right? I kept it completely hidden for forever.
But how do you feel like your identity shapes your work as a scientist?
In some ways, I feel like my identity took over my research agenda, right? It was because I was facing so much racism in astrophysics that I decided to study African cultural astronomy. I went from a situation in which I was, one of a few to I was the only one.
Yeah.
So I went from a rarefied situation to a worse situation.
Worse.
Oh!
You've got the space all to yourself. That's better, right?
But the fortunate part of it was when I moved into cultural astronomy, the fact that I'm a PhD astrophysics meant something.
Yes, definitely.
And the fact that I was studying an African cultural astronomy meant something, right? It was not as if I was an interloper. They were very welcoming, like, you're here! We've been waiting for 20 years for you to show up.
Yes.
So it was not as if I was being pushed out or it was a negative experience. In fact, it was the opposite, very welcoming. Yes, and I think that is something that as African-American scientist, you need to experience walking into a scientific community and having people want you to be there.
Because of how I had been treated all along, I was always aware that I'm the black guy in the room, right? And so this moment struck me at a colloquium at Berkeley. I'm sitting in the colloquium and I go, oh my God, I forgot I was black. Because I was just thinking about science, right? And then the way the story ends is I leave there and take my first professorship at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And they were like, oh no, you're definitely black.
We live in a language where we have to code switch. We live in a society where black folks have to code switch often.
You have to approach people where they are and not expect that, not use language that excludes people. And often the language of science does exactly that.
We rarely see planetariums or science through the eyes of black and brown folks. Right. And so we should have our People of Color Planetarium up and running, which Chicago will be the very first base.
Wait. Back up. You're what?
Yeah, we're making a People of Color Planetarium dedicated. It's like FUBU, for us, by us.
Whoa!
So the People of Color Planetarium will feature African Americans, Africans, Asian descent, indigenous cultures. And we want to showcase astronomy through our eyes.
In our final segment, we look at how black astronomers survive in their careers, and we look at what each of our scientists want for the future.